Greeting, fellow scientists. It is I, Manoa, and today you have joined me, for another high-touch, high-tech science lesson where I will teach you how to become myself, a fellow scientist. We're going to talk about scientists today, but let's make sure we have all the right materials, like this guy. We need this bag. You can tell it's a very small bag. There's a bunch of stuff in there like a balloon, some powder, a magnifying glass, a little tiny pipette. Okay, so that's the bag that came from inside of the envelope that we definitely need. And aside from that, these are other things, a lot of other things that are not included that we do need for today's experiments, like grab yourself 2 empty cups and grab yourself an empty bottle, a cup of water, and some measuring spoons. We need 3 of them specifically. So you could, just grab the whole batch, but of those, we do need a tablespoon for sure. We do need a tablespoon. We need 1/8 of a teaspoon, and also 1/4 of a teaspoon. So these are specific measuring spoons that we do need. And lastly, we need some sort of funnel. If you don't have a funnel, we could turn a paper into a funnel. All right, but anyway, those are the extra things that we need. And once you got all of those, let's get started in talking about some scientists. So, scientists are people who like to figure things out or learn about what they are. And guess what? There's a whole bunch of different types of scientists. It's not just me, guys. Trust me. There's a lot. There's some who study about animals, about the planet, about outer space. But they all have 3 things in common. Even though they're in different fields, they all have 3 things that they all do. One of the first things that these scientists are very good at doing is making an observation.
What's the observation?
Great question. An observation is when you just look at something very deeply. Don't look that deep. It might hurt yourself. But they look at things kind of like if you were to go outside and you look at the tree, you notice what color is it? It's probably green. You just made an observation. Or you look at the sky. The sky's blue. Guess what? You just made another observation. So that's what they're very good at doing, which is to make an observation. They notice something. Okay? So not only that, from that observation, they come to the second step, which is to make a prediction. So to make a prediction is to just guess as to what is gonna happen or what something is. Okay? Kind of like, let's say if you see it all of a sudden outside it's getting darker and there's a lot of clouds, some thick clouds. So you could probably make a prediction or a guess that it might rain. So to think that it might rain from your observation, right? You're making a prediction. Okay, but guess what? That's not the fun part. That's not the fun part. So far we've seen observation, prediction, but the funnest part is to do an experiment. And that is basically when we try to see if what we predicted was true. So overall, all of these scientists, they observe, they predict, they make a prediction, and finally they do the experiments. And these are the fundamental things of what we call the scientific method. And to carry this out, they use all sorts of different types of instruments and tools, but one of the most earliest ones is, these guys, a magnifying glass. Yes, they've been using these guys for a long time. A little more than 2,000 years. That's a long time. And they've been using it to observe things so that you can see them a little bit closer. Because what these do is they bend the light to make smaller objects look a lot bigger. Look at that. Yes. All right. Yeah. So you know what? We're going to see how exactly these magnifying glasses work. And the way that we're going to do that is go ahead and reach into your bag, grab yourself your very own magnifying glass. That's all you need. Okay, just take it out of the bag and start observing. Start being a scientist. Look around at things that you can look at through your magnifying glass. Now, word of warning, don't keep it close to your eyeball because you won't be able to see anything. Everything's gonna be really blurry. Put it close to the object that you're looking at. So let's say you got your finger, right? So go ahead and take a look at your finger. And oh, there's a lot of lines on there. Whoa. Ooh, yeah. Take a look at your fingerprint. Yeah. Just without the magnifying glass, you won't really be able to see much, but with it, you could, wow, look at that. But don't just look at your fingers. Go throughout your house, find something. Of course, I'm pretty sure you guys all have, you know, a shark jaw, right? Who doesn't have a shark jaw nowadays? But anyway, look at whatever you want and maybe take a close, ooh, oh, ah. Notice different things. Like with this shark jaw, I notice that the teeth are kind of white and sharp, and there's a lot. Oh my goodness, that's a lot of teeth. Oh my goodness. So with this little tiny magnifying glass, again, go throughout the house, look at different things. But what we do understand is that it helps us to make a better observation. So now that we know how to be scientists, what we're gonna do is we're gonna now use the scientific method to do some science. So to show you guys a bit about how we're going to use the scientific method, I just want to demonstrate with these cups that I have here. So here I got 3 different cups, one that has some powder, one that has what looks like water. So to put the scientific method into practice, do you guys remember what the first thing that these scientists do?
Observe.
Yep, they make an observation, they observe. So let's observe. What do you guys notice? Well, take a look at this cup. Do you see, is it wet? Mm-mm. It looks dry. That's an observation. Also, what color is it? Well, it's white. That's another observation. So we observe that this is white and it's dry. And when you look at these other 2 cups right here, well, do they look dry? No, it's wet. And does it have any color? No, it does not have any color. So those are 2 other observations. And what we could also observe is that, well, they both kind of look like water, right? So that's the observation aspect of the scientific method. So once they make the observation, do you know what the second step that they do?
A prediction.
Yeah, they make a prediction. They start to think, what is gonna happen if I mix these together? I don't know. Yeah, so the second step is prediction, but what do they do after that? After they make that prediction and think of what might happen, what's the next step? Do you guys remember?
Experiment.
Exactly, they make an experiment. So from their prediction, maybe right now let me predict, maybe this is gonna turn into a rabbit. No, it probably won't turn into a rabbit. Maybe it'll turn into ice. Maybe it'll change colors. I don't know. So from this prediction, right, then we go into the experiment to, piece this together and see what happens. So let's take this one that looks like water. I don't know what it is. Let's put it inside of this cup of white powder here, and let's see if it turns into a rabbit. Maybe not. I don't know. Let's see. So here we go with our experiment, that last step, right? Ready, get set, and ta-da! Ooh, not really anything is happening, right? It didn't turn into my rabbit. My rabbit. Anyway, so we see here that my prediction was wrong. It did not turn into ice or a rabbit, but it was actually just water, okay? But you could redo the scientific method again, right? You could take another observation of now that it's kind of just looks like water and whatever powder this is, right? And I still have another cup of what looks like water. We still have that observation. Maybe we can make a second prediction, right? We start thinking maybe this will just do exactly the same thing. That's a good prediction. Maybe it really will this time turn into a rabbit. Hopefully. I don't know, right? So we can make another prediction, right? But the only way to find out as to what this really is by experimenting and pouring it in. Okay, so here we go. Are you guys ready? So, ready, get set, and go. Whoa! Whoa! What did it make? A rabbit! Yeah, no, it was bubbles, guys. It made some bubbles. So we see through the experiment, it didn't make what was earlier. It was just water. For sure, what was in here was not water, right? When it mixed together with this, and as a result of mixing them together, it made some bubbles. So when you really look at what happened here is, I had a little bit of vinegar inside and some baking soda powder, and when those mixed together, it made a chemical reaction. But we went through the process of what all scientists do in the scientific method, which is making an observation, making a prediction, thinking about what might happen, right? And then finally doing the fun part, which is doing the experiment. So now it's your guys' turn to do this experiment. Okay, so let me put this to the side. And for the Fizzy Cup experiment, you need to grab yourself your 2 empty cups. We need to grab the cup of water and the 2 bags that have stickers on them. One is red, one is green. And this is where we need 2 of the measuring spoons. One that is 1/4 teaspoon and one that is 1/8 of a teaspoon. And then finally, we also need our little cute little baby mini pipette. So those are the things that we would be needing for this Fizzy Cup experiment. All right, so now what you want to do is first, let's take the green sticker, okay? And we are going to be putting the green sticker into one of these empty cups. Okay, so the green sticker is actually baking soda. And we're gonna take the 1/4 teaspoon, and we just want to take 1 scoop, just 1 scoop of this into one of the cups. There we go. And zip that up. So we're done with that guy, and we're done with the 1/4 teaspoon. Then what we wanna do is we wanna put a little bit of water into your cup here. One thing I forgot to mention is grab yourself your other measuring spoon. We're gonna need all of them, as a matter of fact. So let's do about 3 scoops of the tablespoon. 1 tablespoon, not teaspoon, tablespoon. Let's do about 3 scoops of this. Okay, so there's 1, and here's 2, and 3. Very easy. Now we don't need this anymore. And what we're going to do now is we're going to take this bag of powder, which is ascorbic acid, with the red sticker. We're going to take our 1/8 teaspoon measuring spoon and scoop that, only 1 scoop, into the cup of water. Okay, so go ahead and open that bag with the red sticker. Remember, red sticker. And take the 1/8 teaspoon. Take just 1 scoop of that. Put it inside and zip it up. We will still need these afterwards in our next experiment, so don't get rid of them yet, okay? But in any case, you could actually use the little mini pipette just to kind of swirl it around. Another good thing you could do is if you could just squeeze it back and forth, it will kind of mix the water around quite well, as you can see. So I'm just squeezing and letting go, squeezing and letting go, right? So it mixes that up pretty good, okay? So now we've got our 2 chemicals here, okay? So let's make an observation, right? Let's go through the scientific method again, right? First step is observation. We're looking deeply into this. We see that we have some sort of thing that is water, right? And it's mixed with a little bit of that powder. This is wet, but this one is dry, and it is, well, white, right? So that's our observation. So our next thing to do is prediction. What will happen if I put this into here? Well, making an observation from our previous experiment, maybe it's gonna do the same thing. Maybe it's gonna make bubbles, right? So now the fun part is to do the experiment. So all you need to do is just take this little mini pipette, put it in the water, squeeze it, but after you squeeze it, you have to let it go while it's in the water. And once you let it go, it's gonna soak up some of that water. You see how there's water in there? If there's no water in yours, you didn't do it right. You gotta squeeze it, let it go in the water, And now I got some of that water mixed with ascorbic acid. And let's do this experiment. Squeeze it into here and see what happens. Ready? Good, set. Whoa! Yeah, it made some bubbles just like our other experiment. So let's do it again. Grab some more. Oh, more bubbles, and just keep on doing it until you don't have any more reaction going on. But again, what we've made here is a bit of bubbles. Now mine is not really working too much, but from the experiment we were able to conclude that it made some bubbles by mixing these two together, right? So that's pretty fun, right? We got to see how the scientific method is used by all of these awesome scientists who observe, predict, and experiment. So from that last experiment, we were even able to observe again from our experiment that bubbles were able to come out, right? So that's even another observation. So from that observation of seeing that bubbles are made when you mix these chemicals together, let's make another prediction of what would happen if we put it inside of this bottle and into a balloon. All right, so let's get these parts for our last experiment. So what do we have here? Grab yourself the empty water bottle, the balloon, grab yourself the tablespoon, 1 tablespoon, and we still need both of those bags of powder, right? And a cup of water, and finally, a funnel. Remember, if you don't have a funnel, just use some sort of paper. So the first thing you want to do is we want to take the ascorbic acid, which is, again, the bag that has the red sticker, and we want to put all of that inside of your bottle. So go ahead and open up your bottle, and go ahead and also open up your bag. And you could use your funnel in this case. Just put it right on the very top. Again, if you don't have a funnel, just go ahead and use a piece of paper, and let's pour that all in. Go inside. There is the ascorbic acid going into there. Kind of tap it a little bit, make sure all that powder goes in, because we're going to be reusing it again. So once that is inside, then what we want to do is we want to take about 3 ounces, about a quarter of a cup-ish amount of water inside, basically about 6 scoops, just about 6 scoops of the tablespoon. Okay, so I'm going to take this about 6 times and put it in there. There's 1, is 2, is 3, and 4, and 5, and 6. Just around there. It doesn't have to be precise, but I'm gonna put 6 into mine. Okay, and I'm just gonna close this up, shake it up just a little bit, mix it up inside of there. So as this is settling and mixing together, we're gonna do the baking soda now. The entire baking soda we want to put into the balloon. So again, we're gonna grab that funnel, put it right at the lip of your balloon, and grab the bag of baking soda. The baking soda is the one with the green sticker. Just go ahead and open it up and pour that right into the funnel. Make sure you're holding the balloon as you're holding the funnel, that way it doesn't fall out. Okay, so go ahead and put all of your baking soda right into there. And that's good. Tap it a little bit, make sure you got all of that baking soda right into there. Okay, we don't need this anymore, we don't need the cup of water anymore, or the measuring spoon, and we are basically ready to do this last experiment that we have here. So go ahead and take off the cap. Now before we do this, remember from our last experiment we saw that the baking soda mixed with this acid, this ascorbic acid, do you remember what it was able to make? Yeah, some bubbles. But now we're gonna try to think of a different prediction. If I put this balloon right over the lip of my bottle here and I mix them together, of course it's still gonna make some bubbles, But what else do you think is gonna happen? Do you think it's gonna also again turn into some ice or a monkey? Well, I don't know. This is a good chance for us to again make a prediction about what's gonna happen. So before we start, we gotta make sure that we kind of open the lip of our balloon here and wrap it around the lid of our water bottle. Okay, make sure it's completely around, as you can see here. Now, whatever your prediction is, you gotta watch very carefully to see what's gonna happen in the experiment. So we observed, we made a prediction, right? And now we are going to experiment. All right, so let's lift this up, which lets the baking soda go into here. Let's see what happens. Ready? Get set and go. Whoa! Look at that! Oh my God! Whoa, that's pretty cool. So now that we see what has happened through our experiment, let's make another observation and a prediction even. What's inside of there, guys? Is it, how is it even staying up, right? Well, let's find out. Let's take it out. Let's take this balloon off and let's see what's actually inside of here. What, do you think it's like a chocolate or something like that? I don't know. Maybe it's just gases? Is it a liquid? I don't know. Let's. That was definitely some sort of gas, some air for sure. That's why I was able to blow right off, right? So even from all of the experiments that we do, we always can do the whole scientific method over and over again. We can make another observation, another prediction. I was wrong about what was inside, but now I understand from doing the experiment that there was just air that was inside of there. So again, from this, we see how all of the scientists do those three fundamental things of the scientific method. Do you guys remember what those three things are? Yeah, they make an observation. They look deeply to try to notice different things. And then they make a prediction. They think, what's gonna happen? Or what's going on, right? And then finally they do the fun part, which is to do the experiment. And you guys did all of that. So now you know what it takes to be Mega Manoa. Well, a scientist at the very least, okay? So in any case, guys, I hope you guys had a lot of fun doing all of these fun things about scientists with me today. And until next time, this is Mega Manoa, and I'll see you at home. Just want to give a big thank you to our guest scientist for today. Thank you, you did such a great job. And if you guys want to be a guest scientist, just shoot us an email and we'll see what we can do about getting you on the show with Mega Manoa. Ooh. Yeah, so just shoot us an email and then we'll see you soon.